Hello everyone, welcome to YouTube Supermarket. In this video, we'll discuss the Victorian age in English literature. The age from which Queen Victoria ruled England was called as the Victorian age in English literature. It was from 1837 to 1901 Queen Victoria ruled England. This period was a period of profound social, political and economic change in Britain. It was during this period that England saw the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution in England brought about unprecedented technological advancements, urbanization and social upheaval. These three things were very important. Due to Industrial Revolution in Europe, there was technological advancements. And because of technological advancements, many factories were developed, many industries were developed in city sites. And so people from the rural area also came to a city to work in the factories and industries. Because of this, urbanization, the growth of urbanization was rapid. And as a result of urbanization, there was social upheaval. And the Victorian literature has a diverse and rich body of work which reflects the multifaceted nature of this era. That is, the works that were produced during the Victorian age, they reflected the multifaceted nature of the Victorian age. Further, in this video, we'll explore the characteristics and the significance of Victorian literature, and we'll be highlighting the key themes, prominent authors and their contributions to shaping the literary landscape. Okay, in the next slide we'll discuss about the four main characteristics of Victorian literature. So you need to keep in mind these four main characteristics of Victorian literature. Whether you are preparing for competitive exams or you are preparing for your degree examinations, these 4 points will definitely help you to remember what Victorian literature is. These 4 points will help you to define what Victorian literature is. The first one is moral and social commentary, then realism, then critique of the Industrial Revolution, then exploration of role of women. Keep these 4 points in mind. We'll explore these 4 points in the upcoming slides. The first point is moral and social commentary. The Victorian literature was often characterized by a strong sense of moral purpose. Most of the writers, like Charles Dickens, prominently Charles Dickens, has written many works that depicts the moral and social commentary of Victorian literature. Writers of the era grappled with the moral and ethical dilemmas brought about by industrialization, urbanization and the resulting class divisions. As I said, Charles Dickens, Oliver Twist and Great Expectations. See, Charles Dickens has produced many works, many novels, has written many novels. Out of those novels, among those novels, Oliver Twist and Great Expectations are very important works from the point of view of English ugcnet. And these two works particularly have depicted the harsh realities of life for the working class and also the injustices of the time. When you read Oliver Twist or Great Expectations, you can find how Charles Dickens has morally and socially have commented on the Victorian literature. He has depicted how the Victorian England was. What were the results of industrialization? What were the results of urbanization? And what are the results that made way to the class divisions? These are the things that you will be understanding once you read Oliver Twist and Great Expectations. Then coming to the second point, that is realism. So realism is nothing but portraying what is already existing in the social environment. Exaggerate, there is no imagination. Whatever that you see, resulting class divisions. As I said, Charles Dickens, Oliver Twist, and Great Expectations. See, Charles Dickens has produced many works, many novels, has written many novels. Out of those novels, among those novels, Oliver Twist and Great Expectations are very important works from the point of view of English ugcnet. And these two works particularly have depicted the harsh realities of life for the working class and also the injustices of the time. When you read Oliver Twist or Great Expectations, you can find how Charles Dickens has morally and socially have commented on the Victorian literature. He has depicted how the Victorian England was. What were the results of industrialization? What were the results of urbanization? And what are the results that made way to the class divisions? These are the things that you will be understanding once you read Oliver Twist and Great Expectations. Then coming to the second point, that is realism. So realism is nothing but portraying what is already existing in the social environment. So there is nothing to exaggerate, there is no imagination. Whatever that you see in your society are reflected in the literary works, and that is called as realism. The works produced by George Eliot and Thomas Hardy can be considered as a work of realistic literature. Most of the Victorian novel was marked by its commitment to realism. They aimed to capture the intricacies of everyday life. Authors sought to depict the world as it was. They need to show the world realistic in a realistic environment. They often delve into the minutiae of social interactions, relationships, and institutions. Some of the notable works, I can say that George Eliot, as I already told you, his Middlemarch, and Thomas Hardy's Test of the D'Urbervilles. These two works, when you read these two works, definitely you can explore the realistic perspective of England during Victorian era. So try to read Middlemarch and Test of the D'Urbervilles. It will definitely help you if you are preparing for ugcnet and other English literature related competitive exams. So these two works are really important. So I have given you the important works in this slides. So try to copy down, take notes of it, and make further studies of the points that I mentioned here. The third important characteristic of Victorian literature is they critiqued the Industrial Revolution. The Victorian literature frequently critiqued the consequences of industrialization and urbanization. See, these two things are important, okay? When you think of literature, particularly Victorian literature, these two things should come to your mind. If it is Victorian literature, it is industrialization. If it is industrialization, then comes urbanization. A simple thing you need to note. During Victorian literature, there were many industries developed, which is called as Industrial Revolution. And because of the development of many industries, many people even from the rural areas came to the city in search of various jobs. And so happened the urbanization. You know what urbanization is? It is nothing but the movement of people heavily into or largely into a particular city. It is called urbanization. That is, the growth of population in the urban area is termed as urbanization. So in search of job opportunities, people from the rural area came to the urban areas because there were many industries developed during the Victorian era. Engaging with these issues, Elizabeth Gaskell and Thomas Carlyle, They were engaging with the issues of dehumanizing aspects of factories, child labor, and the effects of rapid urban growth. Okay, these are the results of industrialization and urbanization. So you need to keep in mind that industrial revolution and urbanization had resulted in dehumanizing aspects of factories. They resulted in child labor. They resulted in the effects of rapid urban growth. Elizabeth Gaskell and Thomas Carlyle, they offered poignant commentary on the state of society. So these two authors are known for their critique of the industrial revolution. Keep in mind, when you understand what is what, you will definitely answer all the questions. You can easily answer all the questions, or at least you can eliminate two of the options from your question papers. So try to understand the concept. Do not just mug up what is given in your book. Try to understand what Victorian age is, what Victorian literature talks about. Do not just memorize all those works and their writers and the age in which it is published. It merely helps you. Try to understand everything. Okay. Coming to the fourth important characteristics of Victorian literature, that is the exploration of the role of women. See, the Victorian period, actually it is a re-evaluation of women's roles and rights. So far the role of women in literature was different, and from Victorian literature, from Victorian age, the role of women changed. They led to an emerging feminist discourse. The Victorian literature led to an emerging feminist discourse. You see, the novelists like Charlotte Bronte and Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Charlotte Bronte is known for her Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre is also an important work in the point of view of English literature related competitive exams. You can expect probably one question from Jane Eyre. So try to read Jane Eyre at least once. Then comes Elizabeth Barrett Browning, who is, as you know, she was a renowned poet. Both these authors explored the struggles of women in a patriarchal society. So you need to keep in mind, this is how you need to understand. Charlotte Bronte and Elizabeth Barrett Browning belongs to Victorian literature. Their works explored the struggles of women in a patriarchal society. So you can understand this point. Victorian literature, Victorian age has a patriarchal society. In that patriarchal society, writers like Charlotte Bronte and Elizabeth Barrett Browning, they explored the struggles of women. Okay, they further advocated for the greater female independence. Okay, right. Now we'll discuss the prominent Victorian authors. We have already discussed in these points, but we'll further discuss what some important details about them. Keep in mind these four main authors, prominent Victorian authors. They are Charles Dickens, Charlotte Bronte, Thomas Hardy, and George Eliot. George Eliot, in this video, this is the first time that we are coming to George Eliot. Okay. And Charles Dickens lived from 1812 to 1870. I have given them in order so that you can answer chronology type of questions. So try to learn these things in order. First comes Charles Dickens, who lived from 1812 to 1870. Then comes Charlotte Bronte from 1816 to 1855, which is a short span of life. Then comes Thomas Hardy, who lived from 1840 to 1928. Then George Eliot from 1819 to 1880. See, George Eliot comes first before Thomas Hardy. Okay, she lived from 1819 to 1880. Charles Dickens, he was actually a prolific author. His works are celebrated for his social commentary, memorable characters, and vivid description of London. When you think of Charles Dickens, you need to think of these three words: social commentary, memorable characters, vivid description of London. Most of the novels of Charles Dickens are eponymous novels. That is, the title of the novel is the name of the protagonist. That is called as eponymous novel. For example, you can think of Oliver Twist. The title of the novel is also Oliver Twist, and the name of the protagonist is also Oliver Twist. The title of the novel is David Copperfield, and the protagonist of the novel is David Copperfield. These are the examples. These are the few examples that I have given here. And his most famous work is also, another work is A Tale of Two Cities. They remain enduring classics. Okay, Oliver Twist, David Copperfield, Tale of Two Cities. Almost all the works of Charles Dickens can be considered as a classical work, because they have set a benchmark of how a novel should depict or portray the exact realities of a city life. Then coming Charlotte Bronte. As you know, she lived from 1816 to 1855. Charlotte Bronte, she was famous for Jane Eyre. Charlotte Bronte was famous for Jane Eyre. She is the eldest among the Bronte sisters. There were three sisters whose name ended with Bronte: Charlotte Bronte, Emily Bronte, Anne Bronte. Keep in mind, Charlotte Bronte, Emily Bronte, Anne Bronte. These three sisters were called as Bronte sisters. Try to do further research on Bronte sisters, because they have produced only a few works, few notable works. You don't have to prepare a lot, only one or two works that they have produced. So it is easy for you to prepare Charlotte Bronte, Emily Bronte, and Anne Bronte. See, these three writers, that is Charlotte Bronte, Emily Bronte, and Anne Bronte, have used the pen name to publish their work. Currer Bell, Ellis Bell, and Anne Bell, I think so. And Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, talking about Jane Eyre, is actually a seminal work of Victorian literature. See, this particular work is known for its exploration of gender roles, class disparities, and a strong independent female protagonist. Three things. Jane Eyre is known for gender roles, exploration of gender roles, class disparities, and a strong independent female protagonist. Then coming to Thomas Hardy, his novels such as Tess of the D'Urbervilles and Far from the Madding Clouds, these two works are really important works. They grapple with the natural world and the complexities of human relationships. When you think of human relationship, it is Thomas Hardy from the Victorian literature writes those type of works. They are often set against the backdrop of rural England. Okay, keep in mind that Thomas Hardy explored the complexities of human relationship. Keep in mind, his important works are Tess of the D'Urbervilles and Far from the Madding Cloud. Moving on to George Eliot. Keep this name in mind. The pen name of George Eliot is Mary Ann Evans. As I already told you, George Eliot lived from 1819 to 1880. The novels of George Eliot, particularly Middlemarch, is the most significant work you need to prepare if you are preparing for any competitive exams. Middlemarch delve into the lives of characters in a small provincial town. Okay, from a small characters. Okay, the characters of George Eliot are mainly prominently from small provincial town. They provide a nuanced exploration of human behavior and society. Human behavior and society. Keep in mind, George Eliot, human behavior and society. Understand these things, only then you will be able to understand Victorian literature. When you understand Victorian authors, you will be able to understand Victorian literature. When you understand Victorian literature, you will be able to understand the works, how the literary works of Victorian age will be. The significance of Victorian literature. We'll talk about the significance of Victorian literature. See, the role that Victorian age plays in English literature is a crucial one, particularly in shaping the intellectual and moral landscape of the era. Okay, it not only documented the period's challenges and transformations, but it also offered critics and potential solutions. The literature of this time influenced public opinion, paving the way for it. The influence of public opinion paved the way for societal reform, and also they contributed a lot to the development of modern. So you need to keep in mind what contributes to the development of modern novel is the novels of Victorian literature. Okay, the novels of Victorian literature paved the way for the development of modern novel. So there may be a question, what paved the development of modern novel? When you understand Victorian literature, you can easily answer that Victorian novels paved the way for the development of modern novels. So if it is modern novel, then the base of modern novel is Victorian novel. Okay, keep in mind. Very good. Further, Victorian literature remains relevant today also. It is not an outdated literature. When you think of Victorian literature, when you learn Victorian literature, you can compare Victorian literature with the modern and the contemporary works. They are still relevant today. The Victorian literature focuses on social justice, gender roles, and the consequences of unchecked industrialization. Social justice, gender roles, and unchecked industrialization, which continues to resonate with contemporary readers. You can still see these themes in our contemporary topics. You can see social justice in contemporary literature. You can see gender roles in contemporary literature. You can see the consequences of industrialization in contemporary literature, because the world has seen a diplomatic change because of industrial revolution. And you can still some people are saying that we are living in the era of a second industrial revolution. Okay, I will discuss it about later in our future videos. So because of these reasons, because Victorian literature focuses on social justice, gender roles, and the consequences of industrialization, they are a valuable source of insight to the enduring human condition. They can be considered as a valuable source of enduring human to offer insight into the enduring human condition. Then let's conclude this video at this point. The Victorian literature is a testament. Okay, it's a testament to an era marked by immense change and social upheaval. It reflects the concerns, values, and aspirations of a society grappling with the impact of the Industrial Revolution. Mostly when you think of Victorian literature, you need to think of Industrial Revolution and the challenges it posed to the human condition. The works of authors like Charles Dickens, Charlotte Bronte, Thomas Hardy, George Eliot, all their work continue to captivate readers and offer a window into the complex and multifaceted world of the Victorian era, making it a pivotal part of literary history. So thank you for patiently watching the video. Subscribe to our channel for more videos. Further, in this channel We'll be updating more videos related to English literature. We'll be talking about English literature related exams like UGC NET, cuet, set, SLET, all those exams. Keep supporting, guys. Your likes or claps to me. Thank you. Share the video with your friends. Also share the channel with your friends so that it may help them to prepare for their exams. Thank you so much. Thank you.